Title: When the Vows Burned Out, I Slept with Her Best Friend. I know what you're thinking. That headline alone makes me sound like a monster. But before you judge me, before you decide I'm the villain of this story, you should know one thing. I didn't start out looking for revenge. I started out broken. My 30-for-meters marriage to Emily 30TF had been dead long before the papers were filed. You know how people say a relationship dies slowly, like watching a candle melt down to its wick? Ours was ashes before I realized the flame was gone. We'd been together for 8 years. College sweethearts turned roommates who could barely look at each other. The fights were quiet now, which somehow made them worse. She stopped saying I love you years ago, and I stopped asking why. I thought maybe she was tired or stressed or just over it. Then one night, while she was in the shower, her phone lit up. A message popped across the screen. I can't stop thinking about last night. From Ethan, her co-worker. My stomach dropped so fast it felt like gravity doubled. I didn't touch her phone, didn't confront her that night. I just sat in the dark, staring at that glowing notification until it faded away. The next morning, she kissed my cheek and said, "I'll be home late tonight. Big project due." I smiled back. I didn't scream. I didn't accuse her. I just smiled, and in that moment, something inside me died completely. Weeks passed. I kept the secret like poison under my tongue. I didn't tell anyone. Not even our mutual friends. Until Sophie came over. Sophie was Emily's best friend, the kind of woman who could make a room laugh just by walking in. I always thought she was too wild for Emily. Loud, unpredictable, brutally honest. She had been our third wheel for years, tagging along on trips, dinners, double dates. That night, she showed up with wine. "She's with Ethan, isn't she?" she asked before I even opened my mouth. I froze. Sophie sighed, set the bottle down, and said, "You don't have to lie." I know. Apparently, everyone knew. Everyone but me. We talked for hours. She told me how she'd caught Emily and Ethan together months ago. How she'd confronted Emily and was told to mind her own business. Sophie had tried to protect me, but Emily cut her off for stirring drama. By the time midnight came, the bottle was empty. The air between us had changed. Heavy, electric. She put her hand on mine and whispered, "You didn't deserve this." And I don't know what came over me. Grief, rage, loneliness, but I kissed her. She didn't pull away. One thing led to another, and the next morning, I woke up in my bed with Sophie beside me, sunlight bleeding through the blinds like an accusation. Emily found out 2 weeks later. I didn't tell her. Sophie did. I think part of her wanted to burn the truth down before guilt consumed her. Emily showed up at my apartment, eyes swollen and full of venom. "You slept with her," she spat. "My best friend?" I wanted to laugh. I wanted to scream. Instead, I said, "You slept with Ethan." Her face went pale, like she didn't think I knew. "That's different," she whispered. "Yeah," I said. "You did it while we were still pretending to be in love. Now the divorce papers are ready." Sophie hasn't spoken to me since. She says it was a moment of weakness and that she still feels loyal to Emily despite everything. Emily's telling everyone I cheated first. She's spinning the story like I'm the villain, the husband who betrayed her with her best friend, while she was emotionally vulnerable. Part of me knows I should feel guilty, but I don't. I feel empty, because maybe the truth is this. We both betrayed something that was already dead. I just happened to light the final match. So, Reddit. Aitah for sleeping with my soon-to-be ex-wife's friend, or was it just karma finding its way back? Ran. Party when the ashes still burned for a few weeks after Emily found out. There was silence. Not peace, silence. The kind that hums in your ears like electricity. The kind that makes you check your phone every 5 minutes because you know something's coming. And then it did. It started small. My landlord called and told me my rent check had bounced. Weird because I'd paid online. When I logged in, the payment was gone, and so was the rest of my money. My joint account with Emily, the one I'd stupidly forgotten to close, had been drained. Next came the calls. From my job. Our said someone had emailed screenshots of inappropriate messages between me and a female co-worker. Fake ones. The photos were so well edited, even I had to look twice. Then came Sophie. She called me in the middle of the night, her voice trembling. She came to my apartment, she said. "Emily," she told my landlord, "I'm sleeping with married men. Has threatening to evict me." I sat there in the dark, gripping the phone. "Sophie'll fix it." But she just sighed, a broken sound. "No, you won't. You already did enough." Click. That was the last time she spoke to me. I started seeing Emily's face everywhere. In the coffee shop window, in my dreams, in every damn photo suggestion on my phone. She wasn't haunting me because I missed her. She was haunting me because I knew she'd never let this go. And then came the text, "You think you can betray me and walk away clean?" That was it. No name, no number I recognized, but I didn't need one. A week later, someone keyed my car. Deep, jagged lines across the hood, the kind that scream hate. Another night, I found my trash can dumped on the porch. My mail was missing. Then, one morning, my boss called me into his office. "We've been getting anonymous complaints about your behavior," he said. "About you harassing women." I laughed hollowly. "You're kidding, right?" He didn't laugh. "I was put on unpaid leave while they looked into it. Emily was destroying me, piece by piece. And yet, and this is the part I can't explain, a small part of me still felt guilty, because she wasn't wrong. I had hurt her. I had humiliated her. I had taken what little dignity she had left after her own betrayal and thrown it back at her. But what she was doing now, this wasn't anger. It was obsession. I tried to call her. She didn't answer. I tried again. Voicemail. So I drove to her house. The lights were off. Her car was gone. But the front door, the one I used to unlock every night for 8 years, was still the same shade of navy blue. I stood there for a long time, and then I left, because what would I even say? "Hey, sorry I slept with your best friend after you slept with your coworker. Can we stop ruining each other's lives?" 2 days later, Sophie texted me again. Just one line. She came to my work. Emily had walked into the cafe where Sophie worked, ordered a drink, and calmly told Sophie's manager she was worried about her friend's drinking problem. She left before anyone could stop her. Sophie lost her job that week. I wanted to call Emily. I wanted to yell, to scream, to make her understand that she wasn't just hurting me. She was burning everything in her reach. But before I could, she beat me to it. One night, my doorbell rang. I opened it, and there she was. Emily. Her hair was shorter, her eyes darker. She smiled, calm and eerie. "You look terrible," she said. I just stared at her. "What do you want?" "I wanted to see how far you'd fall." She stepped closer. Turns out, pretty far. My fists clenched. "You've made your point." She tilted her head, that mocking smile never fading. "No, I haven't, because I'm still the one who was betrayed." And then, quietly, she added, "You never loved me. You just loved not being alone." I wanted to deny it, but my silence answered for me. She left after that, walked out into the night like a shadow slipping into fog. I thought it was over, but the next morning, my apartment door was plastered with flyers. Dozens of them. Photos of me and Sophie. Screenshots of texts, all captioned, "Cheater, liar, coward." My neighbors stared as I ripped them down. A month later, Emily vanished from social media. No one knew where she went. Not her friends, not her co-workers. Sophie moved to another city. And me? I stayed behind. Unemployed. Alone. Sometimes, when I drive past that old navy blue door, I still think I see her watching me from the window. Maybe it's my guilt. Maybe it's her ghost. But here's the thing I can't shake. The part that keeps me awake at night. Even after everything she did, even after the chaos, the revenge, the lies, there's a part of me that misses her. Because at least when she was destroying me, I still mattered. Party when the past knocks twice. 3 years passed. 3 long, gray, shapeless years. Time moved differently after Emily. Days blurred into nights, weeks into months. I worked 2 jobs, changed cities, even changed my phone number twice. But no matter how far I went, it always felt like I was living inside the echo of her voice. It wasn't until last fall that I started to believe I was finally free. I had a new apartment, a small one above a bookstore that always smelled like old paper and rain. I had a few friends from work, a decent paycheck, and a quiet routine. Then, one morning, I got an email. No subject line, no name, just one sentence. "I heard you're doing better. I'm glad." I froze. The address was unfamiliar, but I knew that tone, that balance between warmth and threat. Emily. I stared at the screen for 10 full minutes, my heart pounding so hard I could hear it in my ears. Then, before I could stop myself, I typed back, "What do you want, Emily?" No answer. For 2 weeks. Then, just when I deconvinced myself it was a prank, I got another message. "I'm in town. I'd like to talk." I should have ignored it, but I didn't. Curiosity, or maybe guilt, pulled me back in like gravity. We met at a cafe downtown, and when I saw her, I almost didn't recognize her. Her hair was darker now, shorter. She wore a simple black coat and minimal makeup. She looked older. Not in a bad way, just quieter, like she'd been through her own personal storm and had learned to move in silence afterward. "Hate," she said softly. I sat down. "Why are you here?" She smiled faintly. "Because I needed to see you." I laughed bitterly. "Haven't you done enough?" She didn't flinch. "Probably." Silence. The kind that stretches between two people who've said too much to ever be comfortable again. Then she said something that froze me. I wanted to apologize. I didn't believe her. Not at first, but she kept talking. About therapy. About forgiveness, about wanting to move on. She said she realized revenge hadn't healed her, that it had only made her more broken. "I hated you," she said, "but I hated myself more. For a second, I saw the woman I'd fallen in love with, the one who used to hum while making coffee, who laughed so hard she snorted, and against every rational instinct, I felt something like relief. Maybe we could finally bury it." Over the next few weeks, we met again. Coffee turned into dinner. Dinner turned into walk. And somewhere between the apologies and the awkward laughter, I started to forget why we were ever enemies. Sophie had long moved on. She was married now, with a kid. Emily even mentioned she'd sent her an apology email. She said she was working in PR for a nonprofit, helping young women rebuild their lives after trauma. She sounded good, real, grounded. I wanted to believe it. Then one night after dinner, she asked to come up to my apartment. I hesitated, but she smiled that same old smile, soft and patient. "I just want to talk." Inside, she walked around slowly, touching the bookshelves, the plants, the photos. "You've changed," she said. "You used to be so messy." I chuckled. "You used to throw my laundry out the window." She laughed, but there was something in her eyes. Nostalgia. Maybe, or something darker. Then she looked at me and said quietly, "I never stopped loving you." My heart sank. "Emily, I know," she said quickly. "You don't have to say anything. I just wanted you to know." We stood there in silence. The air felt heavy, like the moment before a storm hits, and then she leaned in and kissed me. It wasn't like before. It wasn't love. It was history. Old, poisonous, intoxicating history. I pulled back. "Emily, I can't." She smiled faintly. "I didn't ask you to." Then she picked up her bag and left. The next morning, my boss called. Apparently, someone had sent a series of private photos from my old phone number to the company group chat. Photos from years ago. Ones I thought I'd deleted. The sender's email, anonymous. The subject line, "He hasn't changed." I knew it was her. I knew. But when I tried to confront her, she acted confused. "What are you talking about?" she said, sounding genuinely hurt. "Why would I do that?" I had no proof, none. A week later, I was suspended pending an internal investigation, and that's when I realized she hadn't changed at all. She'd just learned to play a longer game. A month after, I came home to find an envelope under my door. Inside was a photo, me and her, from the cough. On the back, in her handwriting, it said, "You should have never answered my message." That night, I drove to her address, the one she'd casually mentioned once. But when I got there, the apartment was empty. No furniture, no mail, nothing. The landlord said she'd moved out 2 weeks ago. No forwarding address, no contact info, just gone. Sometimes I still get emails from unknown addresses. Always the same thing. A single photo, a cryptic message, sometimes a quote we once shared. Once, it was just a line from one of her favorite poems. "You can't bury what you love, even if it kills you." And the worst part, I don't delete them. I just stare. Because maybe, deep down, a part of me misses the chaos. Maybe I was addicted to it, to her, to us, because love like that doesn't die. It just rots slowly until all that's left is the memory of who you were before the fire.